Meet Chad. After recently getting dumped by his uncle, he decided to set out on his own journey. Requiring only 100 push-ups and a 10-kilometer run, he locked his account to only untradable gear, all in the hopes of discovering something new. Welcome to Life of Chad. Banshees, a cute, lovable, and huggable OSRS creature that are widely slayed by many OSRS players. But what would happen if you try to slay a Banshee without earmuffs? Hi, I'm Chief Chaddington, attorney at law, and today we are going to do that and much more. You see, whilst casually training Slayer, we ended up getting a task for 65 Banshees. Now we went on ahead and went to Charos, the first case scenario, to try to cancel it, but sadly we could not do that as Turiel can assign them, therefore you cannot actually unassign the task from them. And we didn't have enough points to cancel it, so we're kind of stuck with the task altogether. Now, what makes Banshees so difficult to slay without earmuffs? Well, according to the wiki, players must wear earmuffs while fighting them in order to avoid the effects of their screams, which causes the player to take 6 damage and have their stats greatly reduced in attack, strength, defense, range, magic, prayer, and agility with every attack received. Now, unlike a typical Iron Man account, you could wear earmuffs and safely safe spot Banshees. Sadly, without earmuffs, you were unable to safe spot them, as their attack is no longer like a melee attack, as they can attack you pretty much from wherever. And the second you click on them, they will actually attack you first, if you're not close enough in melee distance. So with that in mind, how do we go about slaying these Banshees efficiently? We can only get a few attacks in before our stats are so severely drained that we can't actually do any damage at all, and we'll eventually get knocked out by these Banshees altogether. Now, to answer this question altogether, I've had to actually bring in a special guest, Dahc. Nice to be here today. So, slaying Banshees without a nose pick, although difficult, shouldn't definitely be possible. In order to figure out the most efficient way, we had to end up doing some math. So, when to figure out the max hit on the Banshee, first thing to do was to figure out the Banshee's hit points as well as their defensive bonus, which is pretty simple. We go to the wiki and then we see they have a 22 HP and a +5 defense and pretty much all their stats. Knowing this, we then plug these numbers into one of many formulas, which this one is strength level plus strength level boost times the prayer level. This gives us our effective strength level. From there, we then end up strength level. Then we take our effective strength level, multiply it by the equipment strength level, plus 64 strength level.
2 hours later.
Eventually leading us to a max hit of 22 whenever you pair it with a plus 100 strength bonus in gear, as well as 66 strength. Now, simplifying everything together, this means we're going to need at least a plus 100 melee strength bonus and 66 strength in order to at least one hit a Banshee. Now, this does work because there is one weapon that is untradable that we can actually obtain that does have a really high melee strength bonus, and that is going to be the Barrelchest Anchor. The Barrelchest Anchor is obtained after killing Barrelchests in the Great Brain Robbery Quest, requiring 60 attack and 40 strength to wield. Players receive this item in a broken state and must pay Smith on the docks of monthly harvest a fee of 200,000 coins to repair the anchor. If it is lost, players can retrieve another damaged anchor, but then they would have to pay another 200,000 coins to repair it, or you can buy a freshly repaired one from Purdue for 209,000 coins. The Barrelchest Anchor stats are almost equivalent to the Dahc's Great Axe, and as thus, it is a great weapon for flinching. Now, although this weapon would have the highest strength bonus of all other weapons and be great for flinching, there is a couple problems with obtaining it. You see, the Great Brain Robbery has a series of quests that we must complete in order to actually get to that. The Great Brain Robbery itself doesn't have many requirements, only 30 construction and 50 prayer. The problem are its prerequisite quests. Cabin Fever then requires 50 smithing, 45 crafting, and then we got Rum Deal. Rum Deal's the big problem. We need 50 fishing, 40 farming, 47 prayer, and the kicker is 42 Slayer, as we're stuck with this Banshee task. So, in order to obtain all these prerequisites, we just went out and we essentially just did a lot of quests in order to obtain them. And here is the result. Now, starting off, we went on ahead and completed both Elemental Workshop 1 and Elemental Workshop 2. Of Elemental Workshop 2, we ended up with 42 smithing and 33 crafting. Going for the prairie levels, we ended up camping in the Isles of Soul dungeon where the blue dragons are, and we just AFK'd those for dragon bones and went to the chaos altar. Now for getting the 50 crafting, we ended up buying 1000 buckets of sand and soda ash and did a bunch of glass blowing all together. And there we go, the observatory quest complete, and that's gonna give us 45 crafting. Smithing, we went on ahead and headed over to the blast furnace, and we bought a bunch of iron as well as coal, as well as some gold ore as well, in order to get our smithing levels up. And there we go, Prince Alley Rescue is complete, which means we get free access to the Alcrid Tollgate, as well as being able to access the Sorcerer's Gardens minigame. Now the minigame's great because we can actually get farming XP by completing these for free without actually having to wait. Now it's not a whole lot, but it does work, and we can actually obtain clean herbs here, while otherwise we couldn't if we didn't have the Herbalord. Now we're making our trip down to the money pyramid. We're going to do quite a bit of laps here. We're going to try to get around 250k, and then we're going to showcase how we're going to be training our farming levels. And there we go, we left at about 251k, so about there. Now let's go ahead and go to the Falador so I can showcase our farming training method for our early levels. So what we ended up doing for our early farming levels, we spent the 250k on unbagged plants, which then will allow us to both train farming and construction at the early levels relatively quick, as we need to level up both of these in order to get the prerequisites. Now this method isn't commonly used, but it is more commonly used for like your rich players that don't have any of each levels, just to level it up relatively quick. And there's our final fishing level, 50 fishing. And now we're about ready to hit one of our biggest goals of the account. So we just completed Druidic Ritual, and with this we managed to get 1000 total level. So we're going to go ahead and head over to the Iron Man tutor, or whatever his name is, and then we're going to actually set our account to always be an Ironman as permanent. And there we go, we ended up being an Ironman forever. There we go, the Creature of Frankenstein crest is now complete, giving us the Ring of Charos. Is a magical ring that charms certain NPCs when worn, unlocking different dialogue options and benefits. Charos, the creator of the ring, used it to enhance his powers as a diplomat and convince the weak-minded to do his bidding. According to the wise old man, he states that anyone who uses the ring must already possess some kind of diplomatic skill in order for it to work. Now this ring doesn't have any bonuses, so it's not any best in slots, but it is an invaluable quest item that we will be using later on. And there's the Nature Spirit quest complete. In Search of the Myarchy is complete. And there's the Innate of the Myarchy. Now I originally decided to do these quests because I was going to be planning on doing temple trekking to get Slayer, but then I realized that is crazy and I had a better route. On top of this, I got the bog like 10 different times in a row, so I was done with it. So we're just doing a different way in order to get our Slayer levels. And there's the completion of the Darkness of Hallowvale quest, which will let us get 2000 construction XP and a Tomb of Experience. We'll be using that on farming later on, but all in all, this will get us to 23 construction. And there's 30 farming. Now with that 30 farming, we can then use our Tomb of Knowledge that we achieved from the Darkness of Hallowvale quest, and that'll bring us up to 33 farming. From here, I decided that the best way to train our Slayer as well as our farming experience was by doing the easy diaries that we ended up getting. So the first one we did was the Sears reward, and that gave us the Kandarin Headgear. Now I did these easy diaries primarily because they would also give like 1k experience lamps, and Slayer and farming are just really slow skills to train all in all, because I can't do Slayer tasks and farming just takes forever because you gotta wait on your crops to grow. The Kandarin Headgear 1 is a reward from completing the easy Dahc Kandarin diary task given by the Wedge outside of Camelot Castle, and can be chosen from him for free if lost. Its stats are identical to an Iron Men of Helm. Now the main difference between this and an Iron Men of Helm is this one has benefits. When worn, the Kandarin Headgear will provide extra logs when cutting normal trees anywhere, and when worn or in inventory, it acts as a light source. And even when not in inventory, we can get a flax trap. The Flax Keeper will exchange 30 noted flax for 30 noted bowstrings. Coal trucks hold 140 coal, and we get 5% more marks of grace on the Sears Village rooftop course. And there's the completion of Dork's quest. And Gertrude's cat is now complete. And the Junglist of Potions now being complete. And now, during the Charlotte Village quest, you end up receiving the Beads of the Dead. The Beads of the Dead are used during the Shiloh Village quest to enter safely into Shiloh's tomb. It is made by using bone beads on bronze wire. If lost, you can always obtain another one from Yanni Saka in Shiloh's village for 1200 coins. He will also buy the necklace for 1000 coins. The Beads of the Dead has a +1 stat bonus in stab, slash, crush, magic, and range, which is better than pretty much all other untradable items that we have currently, as the Gnome Amulet only provides us with defense bonuses. Now the Beads of the Dead defense bonuses are pretty mediocre with only a +1 overall, but it does have a +1 strength bonus and a +1 prayer bonus to boost it up. Well, overall this will be our best in slot amulet for the time being, as it has actually attack and strength bonuses, whilst our Gnome Amulet only has defensive bonuses. And there we go, Shiloh Village is now complete. And there's 18 Herbler, that's our final prerequisite required for one small flavor. And there we go, one small flavor is now complete, which is going to net us with 2 quest points, 2 antique lamps, which are really nice because they both give us 10k experience each, so we can use them in both farming and or Slayer to actually get us to 42. And we also get access to the Falador Hills Glider, and we get the key ring, which isn't really that useful, but it is an untradable item. And we went back to do some more diaries, and we ended up completing the Ardy diary, getting the Ardy cape or cloak. Now the Ardy Cloak 1 is a reward from completing the Easy Ardy diary, given to you by 2 pints in the Flying Horse Inn at East Ardy, and can be retrieved for her for free if lost. Now the Ardy cape actually has relatively decent stat bonuses. For a cape, it has better than your standard cabbage cape and other capes of that nature. It has a +2 attack bonuses in rain or in stab and mage, as well as the same defense bonuses, +2 in stab and mage. It also has a +2 prayer bonus. Now the Ardy Cloak also has some benefits that are even better, providing 200 death runes when trading in a cat, has a 10% increased chance to successfully thieve from stalls in Ardy. Some drops will be noted at the Tower of Life, and the most important one is, well, using the cape you can get unlimited teleports to the Ardy Monastery. Now we ended up finishing up the Falador diaries, getting us the Falador Shield 1. Falador Shield 1 is a reward from completing the Easy Falador diary task given to you by Sir Rebel in White Knight's Castle courtyard, and can be retrieved from him for free if lost. Its defensive bonuses are equivalent to an Iron Kite Shield, except it has an added prayer bonus of +1. Now, like all other achievement diary rewards, this does have a couple other benefits. It unlocks a shortcut to the Chaos Temple from Birth Rope, as well as a 25% prayer restored daily when operated. Now this does make the Falador Shield 1 our best in slot shield, but it's not really as useful as like a Dragon Defender. And there we go, we just got 30 construction, and that's going to be our final prerequisite for skill wise. Now speaking of skill wise, for construction we use the hammer, and I forgot to actually showcase the Imcando Hammer. The Imcando Hammer is a wieldable variant of a hammer, mostly used for smithing or construction. Once a player gains access to the ruins of Camdozel after completing the Blue Ice Mountain quest, they may begin to mine the Baronite rocks for Baronite shards and deposits, and have a chance to obtain the Imcando Hammer. Now the Imcando Hammer, once repaired, can be used as a hammer both while equipped and unequipped in a way that a normal hammer can be used. But the Imcando Hammer has some benefits that are especially useful just for it, as the Imcando Hammer is especially useful when fighting Temporos, as it cannot be destroyed by flames nor be washed away by the waves, and when doing mahogany homes, it saves an inventory slot when wielded. Additionally, the hammer is useful for the defender during Barbarian Assault, as it removes the requirement to pick up a hammer each way to repair traps broken by the Penance Runner, overall making it our best in slot wieldable skill item, as it's currently our only one, and it's actually a real useful one altogether. And we just completed the big chompy bird hunting. Sadly we cannot do any further chompy bird hunting, as the arrows are actually tradable but the bow is not. As since we are unable to use the bow any further, I'm not going to do a showcase on it, but just note that we will have no use unless they make some sort of arrow that can be fired from it in the future. And so Frost Shooters is now complete. Now I missed the ending of Pirate's Treasure, but I did complete it, but I did record the quest whenever doing it, so Pirate's Treasure is complete as well. And finally, we just completed Cabin Fever. Now this actually unlocks us 3 different untradable weapons, and we're going to be showcasing them now. Now the first one we ended up purchasing was Gentleman Mallard's Rapier. The rapier is a very thin sword, most effective for piercing. It requires an attack level of level 40 of wield, and its stats are the same as the rune scimitar, but with the stab and slash attack bonuses swapped. Prior to the addition of the Brine Saber, the rapier and rune scimitar were tied for the best in slot melee weapon for tier 40 attack weaponry. However, now we have the Bear Knight Mace and the rapier are essentially the same, only the rapier has their best in slot stab weapon, with the Bear Knight Mace being our best in slot crush weapon currently. The rapier was used by Gentleman Mallard until his disappearance at sea. The sword was later found by Smith of Mossley Harmless, who will sell it to players for 25,600 coins, and cabin fever must be completed to reach the island, making an indirect requirement for this weapon. Next up is Harry's Cutlass. Harry's Cutlass is a special weapon sold by Smith on the docks of the island of Mossley Harmless. It originally belonged to a pirate named Brass Hand Harry, who lost his right hand in the battle off the coast of Karamja. He had Smith create the cutlass with a gauntlet fixed to the hilt in order to continue fighting. Smith will sell one to the player for 1,040 coins, and it requires an attack level of 20 to wield. This is an interesting weapon, as it's one of the few weapons that actually has a defensive stat. This one in particular has +4 defensive stat in all the combat and all the melee ones. The downside, however, to this is that it's a tier 20 weapon, so it has stats similar to like the Mithril Sword, but with defensive bonuses, making it by the time you actually obtain it, not very useful at all. And lastly, we have the Lucky Cutlass. The Lucky Cutlass can be bought from Smith on Mossley Harmless for 2,560 coins after completing the quest Cabin Fever. It requires level 30 attack to wield. It was previously owned by a pirate named Unlucky Jenkins, who died after a long series of improbable and very unlucky calamities. After his gruesome demise, his cutlass was discovered untouched. The other pirates concluded that having survived so much terrible bad luck already, it would be impossible for it to go through any more bad luck. Now this cutlass, unlike the other one, has slightly better bonuses, as it's a level 30 attack to wield. It has stats kind of equivalent to that of a Mithril Scimitar, slightly better, and it has +6 defensive bonuses comparable to the +3 before. Now still, this is a tier 30 weapon, so it's not really that useful. However, if Jagex were to bring these further on for like dragon weaponry, it's possible that they could be useful in the future, but how useful is very dependable, as many players would prefer more DPS than to have some slight defensive bonuses. Well, after we got done showcasing all those, we got a huge accomplishment. We just completed Cook's Assistant, rewarding us with 300 cooking XP and 1 quest point. And there's helping the Lumbridge cook again, and we just freed Pirate Pete. And now finally, what you've all been waiting for is fighting the Barrelchest. So he has his anchor and he can hit really high. As long as you just eat up to like above, I believe, 30 HP, you're pretty much safe from getting one hit. So that's pretty much what we did this whole fight. It wasn't too difficult, and yep, that's all you had to do. So we just finished up slaying the Barrelchest, and the Barrelchest Anchor falls on the ground. So we're just going to go in and pick it up and then run it over to complete the quest finally. It's going to take a minute. Now you can save spot this guy, but I decided not to since we had the rapier and it wasn't super difficult to do. We only ate about half our food. Now the last time I tried this, the previous attempt, I actually ran out of food because he kept hitting me really high. But this time we did pretty well. So we're going ahead and completing in this quest. About ready to get everything turned in. And there we go. So we end up getting this blessed lamp, which we're going to go on ahead and use. And we just got 6,000 prayer XP, 3,000 crafting, 2,000 construction, as well as this Barrelchest Anchor. Now this will bring us up to 31 construction, as well as 48 crafting. And now we can finally go over to Smith and purchase the Barrelchest Anchor for ourselves. And it would cost a total of 230k, which we ended up doing the agility pyramid to do. Obviously this is our best money maker at this point, so that's what we do. And we ended up with nice cash stack right there. And there we go, the Barrelchest Anchor.